ఆ, ఇప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ కొట్టానండి, స్టాప్ అని వచ్చిందండి ఇప్పుడు. చేశానండి, చేశాను చేశాను, చూడండి ఒకసారి. ఓకే, 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 ఓకే సార్. ఓకే. గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ everybody. This is KSP Krishna Reddy, headmaster, ZPHS Ganti, East Godavari. I am honorary president, APSSTF. In these epidemic situations, APSSTF has planned to give you a good efforts regarding teaching the social studies subject at your doorstep, because the regular class or the conventional classroom was not being able to present to you in these conditions. So we have planned to do this. Excellent teachers and many subject experts are giving you more valuable and very efficient lectures for you regarding the subject. We are not only planning for the 10th class, but also we want to extend to all other classes also. We have, in these conditions also, we are very thankful to you for watching our program, and also for giving you a marvelous support from the ground level. First of all, I have to thank our technical team and also the contributors for this program. Many efficient teachers till now they have taught very well, and the persons who are going to come will give you a beautiful lectures, and you will able to learn everything on this platform. Okay, thank you all. Again, now I am going to start the lesson. Now I am going to teach you the 14th lesson in 10th class, the world between wars, 1900 to 1950, part 2. Now, just I want to recap what you have learned in lesson 13. Mr. Tirupati Rao of Vijayanagaram had taught you 2 days about 13th lesson, that is part 1. Now I want to ask you some more questions, how far you have able to understand the first lesson. Okay, now I please answer these questions. First, in which year the first world war broke out? You all know about it, that is 1914. You all know that 1914 it has started and ended in 1918. And the next question, name the two main blocks emerged before World War One. You all know about the blocks, the military blocks, they are emerged in the World War One. Can you name them? Yes, they are the center or the allies. The Central Powers and the Allies are the two groups were formed before World War One. Next one, who are the Allied powers? You know about the Allied powers and the Central powers. Name the powers, that means the countries who are allied, who are called the Allied powers. Yes, it is right. UK, that means United Kingdom, France and Russia, these three are called allied powers. Okay, next I want to go to another question. Please try to answer it. What was the immediate provocation for World War One? Can you answer it? Yes. Even if you followed that lesson in lesson 13, you will easily answer these questions. That means the answer is the murder of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria by a Serbian fanatic. The murder resulted the huge war, the World War One, which resulted many human losses. So it was the cause for it. It was the immediate provocation. Of course, there are so many reasons are there for World War One, but the immediate provocation is the murder of Austrian prince. Next, answer this question. Who declared war against Serbia? Here, the Archduke was murdered in Serbia. Hence, which country waged war against Serbia? Yes, definitely it is Austria. Yes, it is Austria. It has first provocated war against, it has declared a war against Serbia for the murder of its prince. Okay, next we will go to another question. Which bloc came in Serbia's defense? Do you understand the question? We have two power blocks. That means two military blocks are there. Then which bloc came in Serbia's defense in the World War One? That means the Allies, UK, France, and Russia. These three are came in defense to defend to Serbia against Austria. Hence, next one, why allies came in Serbia's defense? What is the reason for that? Why the allied powers, all the countries, the allies bloc came in support of Serbia? That means as Serbia was with allied powers, it has a relation with the Serbia has a relation with the allied powers. It has some bonding with these countries, and it is related to allied powers. Hence, the Serbia got the assistance from the allied powers. Next one, which country withdrew from World War One? Have you understand? Which country withdrew from World War One? When the World War going on, one country has withdrew itself in the middle of the war. Do you name it? Yes, it is Russia. Very good. It is Russia. It withdraws in the middle of the World War One. Next question. Why Russia withdrew from World War One? Why it has withdraw itself? Can you answer it? It has been mentioned in the 30th lesson itself. Okay. If you don't know, read the answer. Due to 1917 Russian Revolution. There is a revolution broke out in Russia. It is the reason for them. A socialistic revolution has been there. So Russia has withdrawn itself in the middle of the World War One. Yes, the Russian Socialist Revolution. This is the today's topic for this period, for this class. We are discussing the Russian Socialist Revolution. Okay, now we go on. First of all, we have to see where is Russia. As we have in our textbook itself, there are a lot of linkages have been given for from each lesson to the another lesson. There is a linkage has been given from the 13th lesson for the 14th lesson. The textbook writers have made a great effort to do this. First of all, we have to locate Russia in the world map. You have been given, you have been, you are showing, I am showing you the map of the world, and can you locate it where it is? Yes, Russia. It is the Russia. It is the biggest, the largest country in the world in area. Right? It is Russia. It is on the north. It is on the northeastern side of the whole two continents. That is, it expands not only in Asian continent but also in the European continent. So it is called as Eurasia. Do you know it? Yes. You certainly memorize these sentences, and you have it is useful for you in the examinations itself in mapping skills. Next one. Next, yes, I have said that our textbook makers or textbook writers have made a great effort to linkage each lesson and give a motivation or a link to the next lesson. So, in the 30th lesson itself, you have this picture and the words and this paragraph here. Please look at this. Yes, in Russia, revolution took place in 1917, which resulted in the establishment of communistic state there. One of the first acts of new government was to end Russia's participation in World War and begin peace negotiations. Okay, that in this way they have given a linkage for the 14th lesson about Russian socialistic revolution. Okay, next we are going. Here you can see these two photographs. The first one is the Russian Tsaristic regime, the symbol of the Tsaristic regime in the above, and the second photograph is the last Tsar Nicholas II. Yes, it is here to I want to give you some more supplements through the photographs to make you understand better. Yes, Tsarist Russia. The Russia, when the Russia is in the rule of Tsars, what is the condition is there? It is a vast land mass we have already discussed and we have shown in the map itself. It spread over two continents. Yes, we have already discussed about it. It is an Euro-Asian power. The Russia is an Euro-Asian power. Russia had the third largest population in the world when the first place occupied by China and the second place is India. But it has the third largest country in the world as per our textbook. Next, if you see this map, the Russian Empire, the Tsaristic Russia, that means in under Russia under Tsar's empire, that means under Tsar's rule, you can see this from how big it is. When you compare with the present Russian map, it is very big. If you see from Baltic Sea and the Black Sea, the Caspian Sea, the White Sea are the borders for this. Even Finland is a part of Russian Empire, and Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, and so many countries, Ukraine, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, and so many countries which we have today, they are all the part in the Tsarist Russia. Next, you can see these countries, even which we are considering Russia, present Russia and Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan and Turkmenia. These are all the parts of Tsaristic Russia. Do you know where is Turkmenia? Yes, Turkmenia is none other than Turkmenistan. Okay, next we are going. Yes, if you see this present day map, you can say all these Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia, Uzbekistan, Azerbaijan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, these are all the part in Tsaristic Russia. Again, what is a revolution? We have the lesson, the topic name is Russian Socialist Revolution. What is a revolution? First. Next, what is socialism? And next, what is communism? And then, why they are happened in Russia? First, the basic things we have to make sure about the concepts, then only we can understand more easily. Next one, what is a revolution? First of all, we have to discuss about the revolution. You have seen many revolutions and you have read in the previous class, in ninth class itself, you have read about many revolutions. That is bloodless revolution in England, and the revolution gave birth to liberty, equality and fraternity. That is, you know about the French Revolution, and also against colonies America, the 13 colonies have revolted against the colonizers, and they have liberated. The USA was came into existence. So the American Revolution and the bloodless revolution in England and in the French Revolution, they are all the revolutions we have read about. But it is but this revolution that is where happened in Russia, it is a different one. What it would be, we will discuss further. Next one. What is revolution? Revolution is a forcible overthrow of a government or a social order in favor of a new system. Yes, it is a forcible throw. That means it has to demolish the old system, the social order, and they have to establish a new system. In revolution, it happens. In every revolution, the government or the social order may change, and they invite the new system itself. So it is revolution. Next one. What is socialism? What is socialism? Can you imagine? Have you ever heard this word socialism previously? Okay, let us discuss what is socialism. The socialism is a political and economic theory of social organization. That means it is not only political. The change will not be limited to political, will not be political, but it is also includes the economic theory of social organization. It happens. It advocates the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned by and regulated by the community as a whole, because the community, the people of those country have the ownership on production, distribution, and exchange. So in socialism, it is not only the political change, this kind of economic change will be happen in socialism. Next one, what is communism? Is the first state, the dreams of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels came true in Russia by getting it a communistic kind of government in Russia. Yes, it is communism. What is communism first? The communism means a theory or a system of a social organization in which all property is owned by the community. It is also happened in socialism, and each person contributes and receives according to their ability and needs. That means every person has to work to his ability, and he will be awarded as per his needs. It is advocated by communism. Okay, we will know much more about communism with this picture. Please see this. What is communism? In communism, how is the government put into power? By revolution only. In communism, the government gets the power here. And who controls the government? The state only controls the government. And also, who controls the distribution of goods in the communistic state? That is also the state. Who controls the production of goods? That is also the state. What roles do the people have in that country? Work for the state's benefit. Their main motto is to work for the state's benefit. Every citizen, all the people work for the state's benefit in communism. Next, okay, we have learned about all the three concepts. Now, the revolution happened in Russia. Why the revolution happened in Russia? Just we have to go through this, and there are many factors that contributed the revolution in Russia. Yes, the factors are, we will discuss one by one. Why in Russia? First of all, the social condition prevailed in that time in Russia have caused the revolution. Second one, the Tsaristic regime. The Tsaristic regime, which is very autocratic, and there is no rights to common people, and there is no access to common people to the king. So that kind of Tsaristic regime, the autocratic rule, has given the rise to this revolution. Next one, the World War One. In the Tsar's regime, they have participated in World War One without concerning about the economic condition of the state. So in World War One, many losses resulted for Russia. So let us discuss one by one about the factors that caused for the revolution in Russia. What are social conditions in Russia? What are the social conditions? You have seen a picture in this. That means it depicts the conditions of social conditions there. The king is in the top of the top position, and next one after king there are nobles, and next there are peasants, and next there are serfdom. That means the persons who work for the who work only, they are the slavery. In other words, we can say they are slaves. So they have no any they have no rights even. So in this hierarchy, the Russian society was prevailed at the time. So we have to understand the social conditions which provoked for the revolution in Russia. Next one, in every here you can see that agriculture is the main source of any nation, because it is a time when the industrialization was took place in the all over the world, and in every country the primary source of many people and livelihood of many people, as ours and as in Russia, it is in only agriculture. The livelihood only agriculture for many people in Russia. And also you can see this, that we have already discussed about the stages and also the hierarchy of the society, the king on the top position and the nobles and the peasants and the slaves are there. So we can see this, the control of land. That means the control over the land was the basic cause for the struggle between the peasants and the feudal lords. There are feudal lords. Do you know who are the feudal lords? In the Middle Ages and in the some countries which are in the autocratic countries, there is a social conditions like this. That means many people have ownership on less land, and very few people have ownership on large area of the country. So that means the owners or the feudal lords are very rich, and whereas the common people, the peasants, are very poor in this. It is the cause for this is land ownership. They have a large area in their hands, hence they are very rich, and very less area in the hands of peasants, so they are very poor. Next, you can see the serfdom, how the serfdom has been sorry, how the serfdom, you can the picture depicts itself that how the serfdom has been. That means very rich people, who are the who are the feudal lords, have many serfs who work for them and to enrich them every day by their labor. For here we can see that the feudal lord would own most of the lands, and most peasants paid rent for the land they tilled. The real tilled workers or laborers or peasants are paying rents for the rich feudal lords. So this kind of social injustice was happened in Russia, hence it is a provocation for the revolution. Next one. Here you can see the Nicholas II and Tsaristic regime. That means the Tsar, how he has ruled. We have already discussed that the common people has no access with the king. The king or the Tsar never met or never heard the sufferings of the common people in the country. So he ever paid a deaf ear with the sufferings of the common people. He only ruled Russian Empire with the help of army and bureaucracy. That means the government officials and the army helped him to rule the country, not only for the welfare of the people to surpass or to compress their agony and their distress when they came to the king's concern. So they have never paid attention towards the sufferings of the people. It is the main cause for the outbreak of the revolution. Next one, World War One, Russian economy. What happened to the Russian economy? Of course, Russian economy was not sound before World War One, even though for the Russian Tsars have involved in World War One. The economy bled in the extreme by the World War One because already they have a ruined economy and they have dared to join in the World War One. Hence, the economy has been bled, and it is many circumstances happened afterwards. And also, you can see the Russian army here. It is the biggest army in the world at that time. So, in order to maintain this biggest army, they have to they have to get so many resources. So, the Russian army was the largest in the world before World War One. But what happened when they were involved in the World War One? What would happen is many of them were dead. Many losses have been happened in the World War One for the Russian army. Of course, it is a great army, the largest army in the world, but 2 million soldiers and civilians casualties were happened and resulted the biggest loser of human lives in World War One was Russia. Yes, Russia got many losses, not only economically but also human casualties have been happened in World War One. Next, okay, you can see at the war situation what was happened. Many of the civilians in this photograph you can see many of the civilians have been in a queue for their ration for only food for the food purpose they have been in the queue line for them. Next one, see this, the due to the situations of lack of food the children are like this because why that kind of situation was happened in Russia because the World War One many Russia has involved in World War One. They have diverted all the food for the war. It become automatically it leads to a shortages of food in cities. There would not be any sufficient food for the children and also the people of the Russia. Next one, you can see this. In these conditions, we have discussed about three conditions: the social conditions we have seen, and also the Tsaristic regime, the Tsar attitude towards his people. And next one, the food scarcity happened in Russia. These are all led to this kind of protest. That means on 8th March 1917, 10,000 women they have led to St. Petersburg for demanding peace and bread. The common people don't like war. They want a peaceful conditions and also they need food to live on. So they are demanded only they want only peace and bread only. So on March 8 in 1917, 10,000 women protesters go to the St. Petersburg in want of peace and bread. In these photographs, you can see their agitations here. Many of the women to fulfill their food scarcity and also to give food to their children, they came to the streets and protest against the Tsaristic regime here on 8 1917. Next one, how the Tsar reacted for this. Please see this. The Tsar guards who are he has ordered to suppress the situation with force. With guns only, they have replied with the peaceful protest of the women. So many were died at this. You can see in these photographs also. So many have been died, and it led to the many protests. That means afterwards, what will happen in this march? In this march, the revolution, it is known as the March Revolution, and it is the basis for the change in Russian society and Russian political system also. The March Revolution has a key role in the Russian history. Okay. After what happens? See this photograph. It was a newspaper getting a New York Tribune. The heading is Tsar of Russia abandons throne, army revolts and joins people. If you see this, army are also one part of the people. They have seen closely the sufferings of the common people and they have pity on them. Even with their hands, they have to shoot the common people. They broke their hearts and they have joined their hands with the common people, and they have again revolt against the Tsar. Hence, what would happen? The Tsar abandons the throne. That means the Tsar leaves the throne and ran away. So the Tsar relieved that the Tsar has given up this throne and ran away on the day. That means 2 days after that the Tsar abdicated, non-aristocratic Russians made a provincial government. That means aristocrat means the related to king, but non-aristocratic. They are not related to king. Non-aristocratic Russians, they have made a temporary government, that is a provincial government, after the abdication of Tsar. In 2 days after abdication of Tsar, they have made a provincial government. Next one. Here, what the provincial government has done already, Russia is in World War One. What has the people choiced? That means what the people want. That means they want only peace first, then bread. But what the decision they have taken, the new government has taken, the liberals and aristocrats who ruled Russia after the abdication of the Tsar decided to continue the war to preserve the honor of the fatherland. They don't stop the war. They have continued even the revolution took place in Russia. The government after Tsar, they won't stop the war and they have continued their war. So what happened here, you can see in the honor, to preserve the honor of the fatherland. What is fatherland? In India, we can send Mother India, Motherland, and so on. But in Russia, they call their country as father's land. So the term was used like this. Next one, here we can see when they are in the indulging in war, the common people began organizing themselves into council, which were called Soviets. That means the common people themselves, they have a councils. That means the council means the people themselves, they made a local government that is called a council. They are later called as Soviets. They are Soviets. The people themselves, they have grouped as the councils called Soviets. Next one, you can see this. You can these Here is a symbol of Bolsheviks, and here the photograph depicts the Bolshevik leaders here. They have channelized, they have guided the people to form the Soviets. So the Communist Party, that means the Russian Communist Party, in that the Bolsheviks have channelized all the people to group themselves as the Soviets. Okay, next we can see here is a famous personality who make the communism came into existence in Russia. He is none other than Vladimir Lenin. He is the leader of the Bolsheviks at the time, and he has made a great leadership and he has a great effort to make the Karl Marx's dream came true in Russia. Next one, how the Bolsheviks were able to win the confidence of the Soviets. There are many Soviets. All the people became Soviets. All the people they have councils. They called Soviets are there in Russia. But how the Bolsheviks were able to win the confidence? Because already there is a Tsaristic regime. People have seen the Tsaristic regime how cruel it is, and people themselves formed the Soviets. But the new government, which is the new government, has to get the confidence of the Soviets. First, the Bolsheviks must have get the confidence of the Soviets. Hence, they have to they have to make sure themselves. They have to prove themselves. They are as they are working for the benefit of the nation or the people of the nation. What they have took, what measures they have took. The first one, they took up the demand of immediate and unconditional peace. That means the Bolsheviks have revealed their views in their government. That is, they took up the demand of immediate and unconditional peace. That means they have immediately withdrew from the World War One. And next one, they have to nationalize all the lands. All the lands in Russia must be nationalized. It is their second motto, which attracted all the people. Next one, redistribution of land to the peasants. Yes, it is the real one, because redistribution of land, the land is the main key for the all these mishap in Russia. That means very less people have more land, very vast people have less land in their hands. So they want to nationalize all the land and they want to redistribute all the land to the common peasants. So it attracted everyone. Next one, the control over prices. Due to the lack of and due to the scarcity of food, the rise of prices, the price hike is heavy in Russia. So they have promised to control over the prices. So it also attracted the Soviets. That means the people in Soviets. Next one, nationalization of all factories and banks. It is also their promise that all the factories in the Russia and banks in Russia, they would be nationalized. So these steps which were promised by the Bolsheviks attracted all the Soviets in Russia. Okay, next. Here you go. That means Mr. Lenin, the Vladimir Lenin, the hero of the Russian Revolution. The Soviets under Bolshevik leadership seized power from the provincial government in October and November 1917. We all learned previously. That means after Tsar, there was a government formed, that is provincial government. It continued war, but all the Soviets under Bolshevik leadership, all the Soviets have captured the power from the provisional government in October and November 1917. They have, and as per their promise, they immediately took steps to end war and distribute land. As they promised, they have stopped. They want to stop. They have taken some steps to stop the war, to end the war, to withdraw from the war, and they have already promised that they have to they have to nationalize all the lands and redistribute among the needy people and the peasants. So they want to make some arrangements to do this. Next one, but what happened here is the change of power has not been agreed by all the people in Russia. There is no full peace in Russia. Why? Can you imagine? Please see. A civil war started in Russia led by white armies of Russian monarchists and anti-communist soldiers. See this, when Lenin had want to make a socialistic regime or a communistic regime. It was happened as an outbreak. It has happened, a civil war happened here. White armies of Russian monarchies, who are the supporters of the king, they are known as white armies, and the anti-communist soldiers, that means who are against the communists, they made a civil war against the existing government. Next, here you can see the photograph of the cold in the civil war. But who helped the civil war? Who helped the anti-communists and the White Army? Can you imagine who can help them? Just you can see what will happen. Britain won. The first one is Britain. Very surprising. Next one is France. Oh, very good. Next one is USA. And next one is Japan. Oh, it is not a great thing that Japan is an autocratic country. It may support Tsar and the old regime. But why Britain, France, and USA? They are the torchbearers for democracy and the power of, to the people, but they are also against the new government. Why? Can you imagine? Yes, all these three, Britain, France, and USA, are capitalistic countries. But when the newism, that is communism, came in true in Russia, what would happen? All the countries may revolt against their countries. So they want to protect themselves from communism. Hence, they have supported the White Army and also anti-communist soldiers. So it happened at that time. So at last, what happened? Again, all the White Army and the anti-communist armies were defeated in 1920. The Bolsheviks ended they have announced the Russian Empire was ended, and make so many various countries and it's become independent. They have gave independence to all the countries which were under Tsaristic regime. They have made independent all of them. They have announced the independence to all the other countries which are in the Tsaristic regime. So Lenin has achieved it in 1920, and further he has to take more steps to conquer the country. Here you can see the USSR. What is USSR? What is USSR? Yes, USSR is a union of Soviet Socialist republics. We have already learned that so many people have made Soviets themselves. Yes, all the Soviets have been made an union that is called Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, that is USSR. It is came true in 1924. The Soviet government, the Russia, if you see these countries here, Russia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, and Tajikistan. They are all on the part of USSR. So you can see this photograph. You can easily understand how many states were annexed in the Union. That means the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, that is USSR. It is a acronym. It is frequently asked in the examinations also. The national flag of USSR itself. Next, you can further see that what happened in all the countries which were annexed. Then what happened? It is a USSR. That means in the Soviet Union, I have already said all these countries, and Soviet allied countries are also given here. We will discuss it in the next lessons. So we will skip from this. Next one. USSR tried to establish. USSR has many visions to make their country how the USSR should be and would be in future. So it want to establish the kind of government with these following features. First one, a country without exploiters. That means feudal lords, kings, and capitalists. That means feudal lords already already made many harassment on peasants. Kings wage many wars and take the money in the form of taxes from people, and the capitalists who can take all the profits from their produces, and they only give wages to the laborers. Hence they want to leave all the exploiters from their country. So they want to make a country They are free from feudal lords, free from kings, and free from capitalists. So they want to establish that kind of country as USSR. Next one, industrialized and modern society. They also wish to incorporate these things to in USSR also. That means the industrialization, the mechanization have came in existence. So they have to industrialize further for the development of the country. They have to industrialize. It has a vast people. That means and the third largest country in people. So hence it has to be industrialized and they have to be modern society. They have dreamed about the modern society also, because with the new things, that means everyone must have to read and the society must change, and many advocacies have been promoted in this USSR. Next one. They did not have inequality of people on the basis of birth, gender, language, etc. That means they won't be they want to be equality in the all the people. All the people are equal. They won't be segregated by birth, gender, or language. So the, on these uh, on these conditions are on these aims, the USSR tried to establish a new country, and the USSR must be in that model. So date of Russian Revolution. Yes, date of Russian Revolution. Russia has followed Julius calendar until 1st February 1918. Until 1st February 1918, it has followed the Julian calendar. What is the difference between Julian calendar and a Gregorian calendar? Students, what are we following? Are we following Julian calendar or Gregorian calendar? Which one we are following? Yes, we are following Gregorian calendar. But until 1st February 1918, Russia followed Julian calendar. What is the difference between these two? Can anyone say? Yes, the dates will be changed. That means in Gregorian calendar, the dates are 13 days ahead of the Julian dates. That means, for example, you can see this. If you see today is as per we are following Gregorian calendar, it is 14th July 2020. As per the Julian calendar, it is 1st July 2020. So we are the Gregorian calendar is 13 days ahead to the Russian, to the Gregorian calendar. So the dates were a little bit confusing. So actually the February Revolution took place in 12th March, as the Gregorian calendar precedes 13 days. The October Revolution took place on 7th November, which is known as February Revolution. It is actually happened 12th March as per the Gregorian calendar. The October Revolution took place in 7th November. So you can learn it better in the next slide. If you see these incidents as per the Julian calendar and the Gregorian calendar, the mass protests against the food rationing. That means for food rationing, there are mass protests have been conducted in St. Petersburg. It is as per Julian calendar, which was followed by the Russians. It is on February 23rd, 1917. But as per the Gregorian calendar, it is March 8, 1917. And also next we can see the another issue, that is the Russian army forces sided with the revolutionaries. They have came aside, they have annexed with the revolutionaries. The Russian army joined hands with the revolutionaries on February 27, 1917 as per Julian calendar, but as per Gregorian calendar it is March 12th, 1917. And also in the same way you can see another one, which is we will know about the Bolshevik revolution. It actually happened in October 25th, 1917, but as per the Gregorian calendar it is November 7, 1917. So in all these three incidents, you can see the 13 days ahead the Gregorian calendar when compared with the Julian calendar. I think you have clarified many of your doubts with this slide. Okay, next one. We have information skills. In textbook, in examinations also, we have many very easy marks for information skills itself. In this lesson, we have a timeline chart. What is a timeline chart? The timeline chart is a chronological display of historical events. Yes, they have. If you see the timeline chart, the historical incidents have been set in a chronological order. If you see this in our textbook itself, you can see. So our textbook writers have a view that student has to learn some more things beyond the textbook. They have to learn some more things beyond the textbook. Even if you see in this timeline, many of the incidents have not been discussed in the textbook. They are beyond the textbook. As students, we have to learn this from the sources beyond the textbook. So I want to make you access with these incidents in the next slides. Okay, please see this. In the first one, in the first one, in the timeline, 1850s to 1880s was given debates over socialism. Before 1917 revolution, that means March revolution and October revolution, the people of Russia, the many laureates, that means many professionals or many learned persons have discussed and debates in the people or the learned between the learned people or among the learned people. They have made many discussions over socialism in 1850 to 1880s. In the 30 years, there many debates have been happened or conducted in Russia. Next one, formation of the Russian Social Democratic Workers' Party in 1898. You can see the symbol or the emblem of the Russian Social Democratic Party here. It was established in 1898. You have seen many learned persons, many laureates have been worked for the establishment of this party and make ready the people of the Russia to go on a change in the society. So it was happened in 1898. Next one, the Bloody Sunday and the Revolution 1905. In the textbook itself, we don't find 1905, the Bloody Sunday Revolution or the Red Revolution. It was also known as the Red Revolution, maybe. So, the Bloody Sunday, what happened on the Bloody Sunday? It is before 1917, it is in 1905. Here you can see one photograph. He is Father Gopon. He is named as Gopon. He is a father in the church. Here you can see the father with all the common people went to the Tsar's palace and St. Petersburg in Russia on 22nd Sunday. On Sunday, after finishing the church rituals, and he has gone to the St. Petersburg, the king's palace, to represent the people and to convey the sufferings of the people to the king. What happened here? The father has lead all the people to Tsar Nicholas II to convey their problems, but the Tsar shoot so many of the Tsar shoot many of them, and the army has shoot many of the protesters. Hence, it was called as the Bloody Sunday. The revolution took place in 1905. And next one, in the abdiction of the Tsar. That means the Tsar left the throne. On March 2nd, 1917, Tsar left the throne on this day. You can see the New York Times newspaper clipping here. The revolution in Russia, the Tsar abdicates. That means the Tsar dethroned and the new government formed there. So in the timeline chart, it represents that. Next one, Bolshevik uprising in Petrograd on October 24, 1917. We all know about the October Revolution is there. That means in 1917 they got uprising in Petrograd. They reached the Petrograd and captured the power. Next one, we all discussed about the civil war in Russia from 1918 to 20 before happening to the Bolsheviks came to power. Next one is formation of Comintern. It is discussed in the later pages also. It is later pages also. In 1918 to 1920, it happened. Next one, it is called the Comintern, the formation of Comintern, an international organization for to promote the communistic revolution in the world. As it is the beginning of the collectivization. We will learn this in the next period itself. So next one, to finish this lesson, here in this lesson also we have many mapping skills here. That means these are the Russian countries and which were in the USSR, and these countries which were discussed in the lesson, we have made a we have many marks for in the mapping skills itself. So you have to do this. You have to make sure to learn all these things. Just I want to show you where the it is US, Russia, and next one Ukraine, and next one it is Uzbekistan, next one it is Kazakhstan, and next one it is Tajikistan, and you can see this Turkmenia, that is Turkmenistan, it is China, and it is India, and it is Britain, and next one is France, next one it is USA. These are all discussed. These all places are discussed in this lesson. Hence, you have to make sure you have to learn the map pointing skills, mapping skills also by practice at your home in a outline map. Next one, these may be asked in indirect way. That means which country has withdrew from World War I in the middle, that is Russia. Okay. Next one about Britain, which country colonized India, it is Britain, and so on. So many questions relating to this indirect questions will be asked in the examination. So practice well those examinations. Next one, okay, in these COVID situations, stay home, save your lives, and also thank you for watching my lesson, and be Indian, buy Indian. Namaste, Jai Hind.